welcome to Season 4, Episode 9 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kev, and coming up on today's episode, we've got an away game against Crawley in League 2, and it's very important in the playoff/promotion mix that we're still a part of, with 6 games to go, which is a lot more positive than I was expecting things to be at the end of yesterday's episode. So, just to recap the last month, obviously in the last live com game in yesterday's episode, we beat Blackpool 1-0 thanks to a goal from the Peg in the 76th minute. The rest of the month, it started with an intake of our new youth players for the year. Now, I was really looking forward to this because obviously Exeter have quite a good track record over the last couple of years in this save of producing some really good youth players. We've sold nearly £3.5 million worth of youth players in the last 18 months. So I was hoping for some really, really exciting young players to come through. No one with 5-star potential, which was a little bit disappointing. But Stephen Reynolds looks like he could develop into quite a good player. 16-year-old Welsh right back. Looks like he could become a pretty decent player. He can play anywhere across the back four. He's good in the air. He's got pretty good positioning and work rate and aggression, so I'm hoping that over the next couple of years, even if he doesn't end up being a player we go on to sell for loads and loads of money, he could end up being a player who can at least make an impact on the first team squad, which would be very nice to see. Next game, we went away to Stevenage, lost 3-1, and at this point I really did think that our promotion plans and our promotion push was over. Really disappointed with the performance in that game. We never looked like getting into it. We did well for possession, but nothing else went our way, and Stevenage just hammered us. I think going into this game, we were 4th, they were 5th, and just really disappointing. We just basically rolled over and let them tickle our belly, which wasn't the response I was looking for such a big match. So we went out and signed a player, Josh Sheehan, 23 years old. He's on loan from Wigan. We brought him in for the last 3 months of the season. And we've had to pay a loan fee for him because they wanted 100% of his wages, and he was on 1.6, 1.6? That's ridiculous. £1,600 a week at Wigan. We don't have the wage budget to pay that. So we're doing him on £325 a week of wages and then £5k a month in loan fee while he's at the club. So it's cost us £15,000 in loan fees to bring in. But he can play in central midfield. He's more attack-minded than any of the other midfielders we've got at the club. And crucially, he can play as an attacking midfielder as well. So it opens up the possibility of us playing with a player in behind the strikers to try and create a little more going forward. Or even, maybe, a return of the diamond, which I experimented with a little bit earlier in the season before we settled on the 3-5-2 that we've been using for most of the season. So really excited to have him at the club. In the next game, we went away to Cambridge. We won 2-0. We played very well in that game, but Josh Sheehan, the new guy, got injured after 22 minutes, and he's done his cruciate ligaments. So that's the end of Josh Sheehan's Exeter City career. He's still going to be at the club for 3 months because we're paying a loan fee, so we can't even send him back. But he's out for 9 to 10 months. We'll never see him again. He'll go back to Wigan. He's 23 years old now as well, so it might even be it's not the best time for him to get that kind of injury. I imagine he'll get released over the summer and will drift down into non-league and try and fight his way back from there. But a real shame for a player that I was hoping was going to be a difference maker to obviously get injured so early on, but at least we picked up the win. We then played Crewe at home, and we decided to switch to something a little bit more attacking. I finally got bored of playing counter-attacking all the time. Crewe, obviously, top of the table. If we'd have just done counter-attacking, they'd have battered us. So we still played the 3-5-2, but we went to a control system. We added a few more attacking instructions to midfield. We pushed the fullbacks forward to attacking rather than support. And we played with Anton Forrester as a proper striker rather than one of the deep-lying forwards that we have been using alongside Lee Novak's defensive forward. And really, really encouragingly, we beat top-of-the-table Crewe 3-1. We dominated possession. We had twice as many chances as they had. And all 3 goals came from our midfield. Marlon Pack hadn't scored before this game for us. He picked up 2 goals. Sam Foley scored another one. We absolutely destroyed Crewe, and it was really, really positive. We then tried to sell another player, James Hammond, but again joins the long list of players who doesn't want to leave Exeter. I mean, this guy's contract is up in the summer. He must know I'm releasing him. Coventry have stepped in, they're willing to offer him a contract, and he's turned them down. He's only earning £575 a week with us. He's our fourth choice goalkeeper. And he doesn't want to go because they're not offering him enough money. He could find himself without a club in the summer, and at 24 years old, with the opportunity to go to a club like Coventry, I don't know what he's thinking, but he must be the 7th or 8th player over the course of this season who we've tried to get off the wage bill, who just don't want to leave. They obviously just love me too much. I'm that much of a likeable manager. We then played Mansfield at home, and this was a little bit disappointing. Not just because of the result. Off the back of the Crew game, I was hoping we'd be able to string some results together, but really disappointingly. I think that probably the reason we didn't win is we lost both the wing-backs in this game. Cameron Gale, Ben Tilney, both getting injured. Gale went off after 3 minutes. Tilney played the whole match, but with a knock. Sam Foley picked up an injury as well, despite putting in a man-of-the-match performance. And we are now without both of our wing-backs. Cameron Gale's out pretty much for the rest of the season, 5 to 7 weeks. I guess he might be back for the playoffs if we get into them, if he recovers quickly. But he has been such a key player this season, and he's the only right-sided wing-back we've got at the club as well. And then Ben Tilney's out for 2 or 3 weeks, and he's our best left wing-back. So we need a rethink. The board have dropped down from me being untouchable to very secure. They're still happy. We're still 4th in the league. With 6 games to go. We're only 1 point behind Orient and Scunthorpe, who were the 2 teams behind Crewe in the automatic promotion places. Crewe pretty much have it sewn up despite us beating them. We are now 7 points inside the playoffs, so playoffs is looking more and more likely. We could push on for an automatic promotion place, but we're going to need a bit of a tactical rethink. So this is what I'm doing today. And we did experiment with this a little bit earlier in the season, and it didn't really work for us. But we don't have any wing-backs now. David Tatonda on the left can play as a wing-back, but he's certainly not comfortable there, and we don't have anyone else at the club who can play as a right wing-back. We brought on James McKenna to play right wing-back against Mansfield, and he just wasn't effective there at all. So we've got Dean Wennard, who can play as a proper right-back. We've got Tatonda, who can play as a proper left-back. So this is as close as I can get to playing the system we've been playing without trying to change things too much, I guess. We could have played Wennard as a right wing-back, but he's just not attacking enough to do that. So we're playing the 2 full-backs attack instructions as wing-backs, but playing in a flat-back 4. And then we've got James McKenna sitting in front of the back 2. I didn't want to play 3 at the back with proper full-backs because that just seems far too defensive. A flat-back 5 is not something you're ever going to see me play. So the only real change is we've taken one of the centre-backs out and pushed him into a holding midfield role and pulled the full-backs back slightly so it suits Wennard and Tatonda, but given them attacking instructions. Other than that, this is pretty much the same setup that played against Crewe. So we've got an advanced playmaker in midfield in the shape of Jack Rolls, and then we've got a deep-line playmaker as Pack, and Atkinson is coming into the side to play as a box-to-box midfielder. We are really suffering from injuries, though. We haven't got any other fit outfield players who could make up the bench. Sam Foley's injured, but he's having to sit on the bench anyway. And we really are down to the bare bones. Considering we signed so many players, it shows there's quite a handful who I've fallen out with over the course of the season and thrown away into the reserves or the under 21s or the under 18s or stuck them out on loan to places. And we are struggling a little bit now. If we pick up another injury or two, we're going to be drafting in youth players, which isn't ideal when we're down to the last 6 games of the season. So we go into today's game against Crawley. Crawley are... where are they in the league? Crawley are 7th. So they're inside the playoffs as well. So they're potentially a team we could end up playing in the playoffs if we get to that point as well. So we need to win today. We need... Not just because I want to continue to look good against the playoff teams and get ourselves into a strong position if we end up in the playoffs, but I still want to push on for automatic promotion. I am worried about the injuries. I would like to have things sewn up with a game or 2 to go so that it doesn't matter if the injuries come in. Certainly don't want to have to be playing another 9 games rather than another 6 while the players are dropping like flies. So, very, very important today, and not the ideal time to be playing basically an untried system. So this could be a complete disaster. We will apply the advice. Yes, we're favourites. We want to go and win the game. So let's say, go out there and impress me. That did nothing. So defenders, we need good defensive work because there's 1 less of you than usual. Well, you're listening keenly, but that's not really giving me anything. Go on then, midfield, I've got faith in you. Well, you're happy, but are you motivated? Strikers, what can I say to you? Yeah, let's be assertive. We want quality finishing because their places in the team are under threat because we've got Koulibaly, who would really suit playing as an advanced forward. I'm on the verge of bringing him into the side. And that means potentially either Forrester or Novak could lose their place to let Koulibaly in. So it could be the last time for these two playing together if they don't turn it on today. But other than that, we're playing controlling. We've got a few team instructions on. We're trying to play good football, retain possession, work the ball out from the back. This is much closer to the style of play that I want to be playing. I just hope that the fact that it's a completely untried system with only 6 games to go doesn't come back and haunt us. And also, perhaps away against a fellow playoff team isn't the time to switch from counter to control. But it worked against Crewe. I know we were at home in that game, but we just got to go for it at this stage. I think we're in a position where we can take a couple of risks and probably still end up in the playoffs. So I'm just going for it and trying to win automatic promotion now, which I don't know if that's going to end up being a good decision or a bad decision. We're half hour in and we've had 62% possession. We've had more shots than they have. So we're dominating the game. But it then comes back to, are the strikers really good enough? And I think that is a big weakness in our side. Now George Ray's picked up a knock. What's he done? Damaged shoulder. You're just going to have to stay on. We're so light on players now. I mean, centre-back is one of those positions where we do still have a good few players. But I just can't afford any more injuries. Come on, let's encourage them. Yeah, keep going. You can win today. We need to win today. Right, let's go for it. Second half, we need a goal. I want to see some highlights at least. We're playing a more attacking system. We're dominating a game. Let's create some actual chances that count. I'm going to give them 15 minutes before I bring Souleymane Koulibaly on. Might even stick him up as a poacher and just try and get some chances to him. Because he will score. If he gets the support, which the midfield should be offering now, he's the kind of player who's going to score goals for us. He's too good for League Two, really. I think, maybe. Probably not. Or else he'd have scored 30 goals and he'd be in the team already. Right, nothing's happening. Forrester's coming off. He's had a poor game. He's done nothing. Koulibaly's going to come on. We'll keep him as an advanced forward, I think, just because I think that probably links in a little bit better with Novak and Rolls running in from deep. Poachers can get a little bit isolated, especially if you're not supporting them with more attacking midfield players. Oh, this is not what we want. This is a Crawley highlight now. Hopefully we're about to win the ball back and run up the other end and score. And Pack has done that. Novak's got the ball. It goes to Rolls. Rolls finds Koulibaly. Can he make something from this? He does. Oh, he finds Rolls and Rolls hits the crossbar. Oh, that could have been it. That was maybe our chance. Come on, there's got to be something else. What have we got on the bench? Not a lot. We've got 3 centre backs on the bench, an injured Sam Foley, and then Declan McManus. Well, that's not really much choice, is it? What to do? McManus can play as a winger as well. I wonder. We don't have another winger though. That's a problem. Can Tatonda play on the wing? No. So we can't even go. We could go to something lopsided maybe. If we take one of the midfielders off, we could perhaps stick a winger on one side. Is that something worth risking? What to do? I think I'm going to take Jack Rolls off and bring McManus on. And then stick McManus up there. Oh, this could go badly wrong. What am I even doing here? If this works, I'm going to look like an absolute genius. We'll make you an inside forward on attack. But then we're going to swap you two over. So that I don't want McManus getting in Koulibaly's way. So you can still be a defensive forward on support. Koulibaly. Now you've got a winger as well. Let's make you a poacher. We know you want to be a poacher. And then we'll do that. In fact, we'll just swap these two over as well. So we'll have our deep line playmaker on defend there. Atkinson, box to box on that side. Hopefully we'll get into this gap here. Tatonda can probably just go to support now to balance that out a little bit. What am I doing? That looks ridiculous. Come on, lads. I'm trying something ridiculous now. Now's the time to go and get a goal for me. Why haven't you scored yet? Still no goals. Right, we've got a highlight here. So McKenna finds McManus, who gets it to Atkinson. And what is Atkinson doing there? How was that a highlight? Was that really one of the best chances of the game so far? Novak wins the ball back, feeds it through to McManus. So this is what I wanted, and Koulibaly's there. That's why it was a highlight, not the nonsense that happened before. And that, I'm claiming that for my substitution. Because Lee Novak's dropped really deep there to feed McManus, who's pushed well forward on that left wing. And he's played in a beautiful cross to Souleymane Koulibaly. And playing as a poacher, that is what he's in the side to do. And now we've got to defend this for 15 minutes. Do we go back to counter-attacking? We could potentially go back to our tried and tested system here. Let's do that. So we'll go back to our counter-attacking system. We'll stick McManus up front. We're taking Lee Novak off here, I think. So you're going to play as a deep line forward. But we're going to play you on attack. Have we got enough midfielders to do this? Yes, McKenna. McKenna's still there. We'll stick the peg in the middle, and then we're going to bring Ryan McConnell on to play in the back three. Winard doesn't want to do that, does he? This was the danger at the start of the game. Oh, he's just going to have to like it. That's what we're doing. This is where it all goes wrong now. Shouldn't have fiddled. Should have stayed with the system that was working. Why have we got team instructions on? We don't have team instructions on this. Actually, they're not disastrous. No, we're going to clear them. It worked without them. Let's keep them off. So this is the system that only gives the opposition a chance every 93 minutes or whatever it is, according to the analysis we looked at. So we've just got to hold out for 2 minutes now, and we get a really, really, really important win. And that looks like, oh, don't score here, and they don't. Fantastic, 1-0. I did tactics. There you go, you all saw that. I made tactical changes. I was thinking, this is new. Perhaps I'm actually learning to play Football Manager. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure you pop a like on there for me. And subscribe to make sure you don't miss out on tomorrow's episode. Tomorrow's episode is probably going to be the last 2 games of the season, if it looks like we're in for a shout with automatic promotion. If not, it'll probably just be the last game of the season, and then we'll do another episode with probably the whole of the playoffs in. So, yeah, whichever way it works, tomorrow's episode, it's going to be a big one. So make sure you subscribe to not miss out on that one. Thanks very much for watching.